Hello and good day. Just thought I would continue working on this tropical seascape painting project that I'm doing. Where we left off is I finished this mountain range here, and I thought I would move on to the sky. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip into a little medium here. I have both liquid and turp, but I thought I would go into a little bit of turp and maybe go into a little bit of yellow ochre and Indian yellow, and maybe a little hint of orange. Just a little hint of orange, and let's see what kind of tone I got. Maybe a little bit of red too, just a hint. Just a hint. Oh, that red is very strong, so I'm going to have to wipe that off. Go back into my yellow ochre because I don't want too much of that red. I just want a hint of it. And see if I can get it maybe a little more, a little hint of brown too, a little hint of this Van Dyke brown. Yeah, it's where I got kind of a mix here on my palette. Let me go ahead and I'm just going to start about here and start putting in a little bit of sky here. Just kind of lightly, gently put a little sky shapes in here. Kind of at a diagonal, going by a reference photo, and it kind of has this look to it. Let's break it up a little bit. Put a little here, leave some spaces. And I can always change it up. Adding a little of that medium also helps. Let it fade out towards the bottom here. I'm going to go back into the paint, pick up some more paint, a little bit darker as we go, a little wider here. Now I'm going to get a little more into that red, pick up a little orange, and blend that into that same mix. See what I get here. It's a little too bright of an orange, so I'm going to go a little bit into that brown. Pick up a little of that yellow ochre. There we go. You notice I don't try to go. I kind of wiggle the brush a little bit, trying to get those natural. And then I kind of swirl a little bit. And then I skip. Add a little more orange. Change it up a little bit so there's a little bit darker areas. And then as I go up, let it get a little wider there. Then as I go up, I'm gonna start introducing just a little hint of that purple, that same purple mix, that our color that I was using originally. And I kind of like that look to it. Since I'm near the sun, I'll put a little bit of yellow into it, just a little hint of yellow, just to brighten it up a little bit. In fact, when I do this, I'm going to be adding even a little more bright colors, like a little white and so forth. And down here, we're just going to leave it. We're adding a little yellow into the mix, just to kind of looks a little bit thicker here. Trying not to touch the mountain range here too much. Trying to leave it. Just that little hint of yellow really helps. Kind of looks like there's just a little bit of little bit of a kind of like a thick, denser area here towards the bottom. And now that I'm getting a little bit closer to the white, I don't want that to be too, so I'm going to add a little white to the mix. A little white. Leave it orange, but get kind of a lighter peachy. Peachy. See, we're getting closer to the sun now, so where the sun is about. So we get a little of this peachy mix in there. Now I can change this. Add a little bit more white here. And we're getting a little more lighter area here near the sun. Around where the sun is going to be, there's a little more peach here. A little more of lighter value. Just kind of blending it into the area, leaving some of that dark. Don't want to get it into my mountains, which I kind of did a little bit, but that's okay. We'll fix it. Now I'm going to go into a little more yellow here. I'm going to leave that white area. See, there's a little bit more yellow here. There's about where the sun's going to be. A little more highlight. Let's go into that yellow-white mix. A little more white and yellow mix. The sun's kind of like highlighting these areas just a little bit here. Darken it down just a hair. Just a hair. Add a little of that peach in there. And we need a little more brown, a little more yellow ochre. There we go. Maybe just a hint of red. That red is really strong. Just blend it in with my finger a little bit. There we go. Being this is where the sun's going to be, we're trying to stay away from that that area. Just introduce a little bit of it there, and maybe go into a little more yellow here. Oh, a little bit too strong, a little too strong with the yellow. Just little hints of yellow, because we'll blend that in. You'll see, we'll blend that in. Let's go into a little bit darker here. A little bit darker. Yes. There's a little bit of Van Dyke brown and burnt umber mix here, just a little bit. Make the clouds seem a little bit darker right about here. And we'll blend that in. We'll blend that in. Then as I get over here, I'm going to introduce just a little bit of that dark too. Just a hint, just a hint. Just a hint. Not a lot, just a hint. Kind of changes it up a little bit. Maybe a little of that dark right here. Oop, too dark, too dark, too dark. Too dark. Oop. Blend it in a little bit. Blend it in with my finger. Let's go in with a little more of that red, but that not too much, not too much. Just a little hint of red. Just a little hint of red. No, that's kind of pink. Oh, that's more like crimson. Okay, let's clean the brush out. I got confused about the red. See, I'm trying to figure. I got more than one kind of red here. I thought I was going into red. Let's take a look. Let's go back into this orange mix. It does have a little bit of red in it. Boy, that red is sure strong. Once it gets on the brush, you just can't get rid of it. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Get rid of the hair. There we go. Kind of a corally peachy color. I like that. We'll blend some of that in. We'll blend some of that in. As I come up here, I don't mind that color. I want a little more of that color up here. That makes more sense to be up here, yes. Yes, that actually looks pretty good right there. Because it's further away from the sun, so it would make sense that it possibly could be there. In fact, I'll put a lot of that color right up in here. Yeah, that makes sense. And the thing about oil paint, if you don't like a particular color, you can just simply use your towel and remove it. Just smudge it right off. It's okay to leave a little of that color, but that color is just a little bit too bright for down here. I want it to be more yellow, more yellow. Oh, I need my cleaning. Okay, let me get my cleaning. Clean that brush off. Now, go back into just a little bit of yellow. Just a little bit of yellow here. Introduce a little yellow into this. Yes, that's better. I'll have to repair that little bit where I got it on the terrain. I'll do that in just a little bit. I don't know if I can take that off without getting some of that terrain off. By dabbing it. Maybe by dabbing it I can sort of repair it. It's okay if a little of that sunlight spills over. That might not look too bad. It might just look like light is hitting that area. Just by dabbing some of that paint off, it might help. Yeah, I think it sure did. I'm going to go into a little of this purple. Just a hint of this purple. And that dark brown. That seemed to look pretty good. That little bit of purple in there. And as I get up in here, I'm going to start introducing a little of this purple color. Yes. So when I start highlighting this area, that will also look good too. There even seems to be a little hint of green here, and I would like to emphasize that, and I'm not sure if I can. Let me try that. Let me go into a little turf and pull out a little of this turquoise color and see if I can get a turquoise that's going to look good. Let's take a look. Add a little white to the mix. Maybe a little bit more blue. Just a hint of blue. there. Maybe. Let's take a look at this. What's this color? Oh, a little more yellow in the mix. A little more yellow in the mix. Yeah, I kind of like this. Let's see if I can get a little of this. It's kind of a baby blue almost. I want a little more yellow in the mix. There we go. Let's see what that does. Let's see if that tones down that blue just a hint. Yes, I like that. Kind of a green. Kind of looks like a greenish cast. It's matching more of the color. Now I'll blend this. I'll blend this a little. Let's get it over here more. Yes, that's looking really good there. Maybe clean off my brush and try to get a little more of that. I'm going to leave this light area here, but just go in a little bit with this hint of blue, and then we'll blend it out. In fact, I'll get a little bit more hint of a yellow here. See if I can get a little brighter. I like this, yes. Just random, just random. And there's kind of a baby blue down here, and I don't want to lose that. I'm going to go a little bit, this little bit darker version of this teal. Put it in here. Yes, it looks really good. Yes. Huh. Interesting. And I'll go into just a little bit of yellow here. Just plain old yellow. Oh, that looks too green, too green. And let's just go into a little white then, with maybe just a hint of yellow ochre in it. A little hint of yellow ochre. Let's see if I can pick up some of that yellow ochre. Yeah. And in here we'll add it right around where the sun's going to be. Right around where the sun will be. A little more. Oh. All these variations really help. Adding all these variations of color. A little bit of pink with a little red cast or a little orange, and maybe I'll pick up just a little bit of this orange and see what that does. Maybe too bright. I'm not sure. And then as I come down, I'll pick up a little more of this Indian yellow and put that in the sky. I kind of like the look of this, just a little hints of it. Yeah, I don't like that. A little bit of white, kind of a white pink mix. There was a little pink here. Ooh, a little bit too strong there. Just move it in with my fingers. Oh, so there's little bright spots. Blend it out. Very interesting. It'll be a very interesting sky, that's for sure. Let's go a little more into white and a little hint of yellow. A little hint of yellow ochre. A little hint of yellow in it. Seems like there's a kind of a brighter area here in my reference, so let's emphasize that. Okay, let's just see where this goes. Just put little bit of bright areas here and there. Got a little teal there. There we go. Trying to get those clouds. Sometimes just blending it with your, or removing it with your paper towel or your towelette. This is kind of a towelette. It's actually baby wipes. But the only problem is I'm introducing some color because it was a little on the towelette. So I'm actually just blending that with my fingers, but I'm leaving some of those highlighted areas kind of by themselves. So it's just kind of slightly blending and removing some of that color. And I'm going to just go and kind of do the same thing. I saw somebody actually use a paper towel and almost painted an entire painting with just a paper towel. And I thought that was so cool. Yeah, they were actually using the paper towel like a brush. And boy, if you can paint something just using a paper towel, that just goes to show you that you don't need an awful lot to make a really pretty painting. So I'm going to kind of soften this here, remove some of those darks near the horizon, just kind of blend it in with my finger and a paper towel or towelette. Yes, I like that look. And it just kind of softens it, it blends it, and it gives it kind of a little hint of that atmosphere down below. And we're just dragging that color down that's I added in the cloud. Drag it at an angle, dragging it at an angle. It's amazing the kind of effects you can get just with a paper towel or a towelette. So I'm going to continue on. I'll probably do a lot more highlighting too. Let me see if I can bring some of this. This color is kind of bright, so I'm going to try to bring that down here as well. Just to add some variety here. Variety of color. Very pretty. Now I'm going to go back into my chirp and go into a little red and a little of this dioxazine purple. That's how it's pronounced. I'm not exactly sure. Add a little of that color, and we'll highlight that too. Since I want to be a little more over the, bring it down a little bit, kind of skip places. Just adds little spots of interest. Now, on my cleaner, do a little more of a white-yellow mix here. Oh, I want to remove a little of that. Okay. Brighten this up like the sunlight is kind of shooting through here. It's also blending it. Go into a little more white. Leave some of that dark area. Don't try to cover it all up. Let's go up here. A little bit of white up in here. Kind of soften that purple mix. Bring it down. Yeah, it's coming together little by little, you know. It just happens. I want to add a little more emphasis of light here. Make that cloud seem like it's coming down. So that light just traveling in all different directions. And it fades out there. Let's go into a little bit of pink over here. Add a little bit of pink right in here. I'm just kind of using a reference photo to kind of judge it. You know, nothing's 100%. Let's go into a little of this turquoise and see what that does. Put little hints of turquoise here and there, like little spots of light. Remember I was talking on that first video about transmitted light. And there is transmitted light, which means that the sunlight travels through the clouds. The clouds act like a medium or a conduit. And it brings what looks like a highlighted area like here. That could be transmitted light if it was in a natural setting. But I'm liking this little hint of teal that I'm introducing into the sky. I'm going by like the reference that I showed earlier, or that was on camera earlier. And this looks harsh right now because it's not blended, but when I come around with the blender and I start blending this together, it'll start making a little more sense. Let's take a little of this color. This is kind of an interesting color. It's like a flesh tone. And I'm gonna bring that down in here too. It's kind of an interesting alternate color to what's there. Kind of a smoky yellow. It's like different. It's a little bit like yellow ochre, but has a little more green in it. And I kind of like this down here, so I don't think I'm going to mess with it. But I might put little bits of shadowy area. It's kind of like a smoky shadow color, and I think I'm going to just put it right here at the very bottom. Oh, I like that. In fact, maybe I'll put a little bit of it right here too, like it's just traveling into the light. because you have to have some shadow areas. Everything can't be bright, or everything can't be dark. It has to be a nice balance between bright and dark. And this pink is kind of pretty, and I don't know if I could put a little of that in here. It's kind of a flesh tone pink color, and it might look good here too, blend it in. Yeah, I think that does look good. Go back into this yellow ochre. I kind of liked it. It's got a little Indian yellow in it, which is kind of a brighter version of yellow ochre, I guess. I don't know what you would call it. And we'll add a little of that in here. Now this is kind of a little bit on the bright side to be this high up normally, but the sunlight sometimes can travel, so a little bit of a darker yellow might actually look good right here at the very top of the canvas. But I don't want a whole lot of it, just a little hint of it might look good. And when we blend that in with that kind of a purple mix, I'm going to go into a little more blue now and make that purple a little darker still, and put that in there. It's a little bit too dark. Let's see. Yeah, it's a little on the too dark side. So I'll add a little bit of white to it. See if that does what that does. I just want a smidgen on my brush. I don't want too much. And I'll just blend it in with my finger, and we'll come along here with a blender brush, but right now I'll just use my finger and kind of add that in there. I'll probably re-emphasize these darks too. Yeah. Now I'll go in here with a little bit darker blue. Let's see if we can get some blue out of this. Go into my turf. Kind of get a dark blue. I want a smoky blue, so I'm going to add a little bit of burnt umber. Just a little hint of burnt umber into that blue. There. Oh, almost too much blue now. I had it just where I wanted it, and now I kind of messed it up. So let me clean off my brush. Try that again, and go into just this kind of a brown blue mix. Where it's kind of a, I don't know what you'd call that. We'll just add that in here and there, and yeah, I like it. It's kind of a smoky blue, and we'll add that to the mix, and it'll emphasize these dark areas. In fact, if I mix it into this brighter purple color, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Let's get a little more of that. Let's go over here on the edge. Put some of that dark, a little more brown and blue. Kind of a, I don't know what you call it, almost like a midnight blue or midnight black. I don't know what you call it, midnight blue. Yeah, see? The thing about clouds is they're very random, you know. I'm going to leave this light area alone. I don't want to mess with it too much. I'm going to come down with it and just kind of blend it in. Like there's a little band of darkness here at the top. Swirl it, twirl it. I like that. I like that. Just that little hint of it. And I can always change things, make adjustments. Sometimes I just use the paper towel and I'll just remove something if I don't like the way it looks. Like it looks too... Let's go in with a little more of that dark brown kind of color here. Because we did have a little black up here. If you recall, I used a little black. Kind of like that. A little bit of blue. There we go. Just a little touch. Ooh, it's nice and vibrant. Nice and dark up there. A little too vibrant. But I'll blend that out. Yeah. Let's see. Let's take a little of this brown and mix it in. And that'll kind of kill some of that real bright stuff. Yeah. Yep. Now let's add a little red. Little hints of red. Ooh, somehow I picked up yellow. I don't know how I did that. Okay. A little bit of red here. Yeah, it's a little on the strong side, but that's okay. We'll blend it out. Okay. Now go into some of that yellow ochre. Yeah, little hints of it here. I think I'm going to remove that. I don't care for that too much. There we go. But it gives a little bright spot. I'm going to go back into that teal. See, I just keep changing it up. And I'm going to add a little yellow to that teal. I kind of like this color right here. Yeah, it's coming along. A little more purple. Little yellow ochre. Yeah. Bring those down. Bring that down. It's coming along. I'm going to go into a little more red now. Drag some of that red out, soften it. Once I get a blend going on, we'll see what it looks like ultimately. And if I have to do some changes, that's fine. I'll do some changes. Have a little of that yellow and orange mix going through here a little. I know it's slow, but it's happening. It's a slow process, but it's happening. It's okay to have some of that orange come through here. It's okay. Gives a little variety. Twist the brush a little, come down. Yeah, it's starting to come together. Looks good. Just a little of that orange right there. Even though the sun's there, there's still always going to be some parts of the clouds that have that orange cast to them. I think we're almost going to get to the point where we can blend. It's going to be there, very close to it. Put some of that orange cast up in here. Pull that out. Very random indeed. Yes. Oh gosh, it's looking good. Now I'm just kind of cleaning my brush off. That's what I'm doing. I'm cleaning my brush off, softening areas before I do a blend, just to see what kind of gradient we get here. Soften this, come this way a little, go that way a little. I'm kind of already pre-softening it now. Pull this out this way, like there's a big swoop of clouds going that direction. And then I'll continue doing the highlighting with just the yellow mix. That would be great. Let's get a little of that yellow and white going. And just start doing some highlighting only. So the sun is about here. We're going to re-emphasize that sun light right in here. It's kind of like behind the clouds. Normally, if I would actually want to put the sun in, I'd take my finger and stick it right in the white and then just go in a circle to make it look like sun. Let me get some of that dirty color off there, and there we go. Go into this nice yellow mix. Go into a little chirp, a little white, a little more chirp, not too much. Thin that paint out so it'll stay on the surface and not just be stuck. Yeah. Re-emphasize that sunlight. And have it come kind of fade out here. There's a little of that sunlight coming up and over. Yay! Okay, a little bit of sunlight here. A little bit of sunlight there. Yeah, it's coming along. Yay! Yeah, let's blend that. Alright, clean my brush off again. Add a little more of that Indian yellow to the mix. A little Indian yellow and white. So I kind of liked that color there. Yeah. Yeah. Let's just bring that out. You know what? I think I'm going to get to the point where I'm just going to do a blend now. It's getting very close. I'm just going to do a soft blend. Let's get a little of this Van Dyke brown and purple mix again, that darker shade. And let's just put it in here. Like there's some smoky darky clouds here. Is that a word? dark clouds. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, smoky. Nice and smoky on top of Old Smoky. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it gets a variety of color here. Golly, that looks good. Geez, Danny, you're doing a good job, I think. Hopefully, let's keep our fingers crossed. All that smoky, dark brown, kind of purple brown. It's a mix of purple and brown, basically, is what it is, with a little red cast in the background just to give it some flavor. Yes. Now add a little more of the brown color. So this is definitely got some movement. Yeah. There was an artist trying to say the word. He couldn't think of the word in his clouds. He's trying to say, I'm trying to give it the clouds a lot of features, but I think what he meant is movement. It has a lot of movement in the clouds. And sometimes adding a little of this, that, and the other really does help. It makes it interesting, exciting. And so now we got a little highlight going on here. A little highlight. Yeah. We don't want it too strong there. But it does. It just adds a little highlight. Like the sun is kind of hitting the very bottom, because the sun's around here, hitting the very bottom of those clouds, making it very illuminated down at the very bottom of it. Yeah, I think I'm very close to being done here. Add a little of that cast too. Kind of a pink, a little bit of a pink cast is all it is. And being closer to the sun, it might be a little stronger here. No, I don't want to. Kind of liked that dark brown that was there. Mucked it up right there. Let me fix that. There we go. I liked that little bit of dark cast right there. Like something smoky's going on. Like little dark clouds kind of blending in there at the bottom. So what I should do is pull this out, and I'm at the point where I'm about to blend it here now. Because I'm at the edge, and I kind of like what I got going on up here. Maybe there's a little bit of light there, but I want some dark brown too. I'll add a little bit of red and black, brown. Just a little brown and red. Kind of. I think I need more blue and black at the very top. At the very top. Yeah. I might have to thin the paint down. I have that little bit of draw it down. Just kind of clean my brush off. Clean my brush off. Go into that darker color here. Yeah, there we go. Kind of a midnight black. Leave some holes in there. Leave some holes in there. Don't go straight in with all the... Leave some holes. Some places. Okay, I'm starting to go into that white area. I wanted to leave it light. So I'm going to take my towelette here and just a clean one and just slightly dab it. Lightly dab it. So I can remove some of that black. There we go. And see if I can get back to the white that was there. Yes. Yes. Don't do it too much, because otherwise you'll remove the paint and then the canvas will start showing through. But we'll go in with a little bit of a clean brush and re-emphasize that light blue. What I'll do is just go into a little dab of white and add a little white here. Oh, a little too strong. So let me get another brush and just blend that out. Yeah, actually it looks pretty good. I think I should do that throughout the painting here. Just at the very bottom. In places. think the light is going up a little. Just in places, just in places. Not too strong, not too strong. Just a little soft light. Yes. Blend that pink out a little bit. That's there. Yes, it's looking pretty good actually. So I think I'm going to do that now with the blender brush. I'm just going to take a 1-inch brush and just start swirling. We're 50 minutes into this, so I want to get this sky done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the lighter areas because I don't want to drag my darks down. And I'm going to wipe my brush off as I need to do it. So I'll just take my brush and just start. I don't want to lose everything, so I'm just going to slightly blend like the very bottom of the clouds in places here and there. See if I can. Yes. I might even add a little more white here at the bottom. Oh, I like that little bit of red. That's the thing about blending, is it's just really kind of your discretion. The direction you want to pull the paint, what areas you want to be soft, and what areas you want to be light. So I'm going to wipe this off on the brush, get that paint off, so I can do it again without contaminating the other colors. So you can leave them a little more pure. And then some of these areas that have like a little bright spot, just leave them. You know, it has a little color transition or a little color that you like, or it has an area you don't want to blend it too much. You don't want to overblend this. You just want to blend it so you get a soft gradient of clouds. And of course, clouds have areas that are very bright and very, very sharp, and then they have areas that are more soft. And right here where the light is going to be, I might soften it just a little bit more, because I notice I have brighter values here because I'm implying the sun is here behind these clouds. Because I've done a lot of paintings where I just show the direct sun, you know, and like I said, I'll take a white with a little yellow in it or something, and I'll just put I'll just put it on my finger and just kind of rub it in a circle to create the sun, which is another way to do it. But this is kind of implying it's sort of a lot of clouds. This is a very moody sky, and the sun is there, but it's behind all this stuff. Let's bring that bright orange out. I like this coral color. This coral is kind of an orange. It's a light orange, basically. That's what coral is. It's kind of a peachy pink. And I've seen a lot of beautiful skies with that coral color in it, especially in sunsets. I mean, it just looks awesome in a sunset. Yes, it does. And the more, you know, as long as they're not hideous colors, you don't want to go overbearing with your colors. So I want to imply the sunlight is coming, kind of radiating out. So what I'm going to do is, notice I'm going to bring, when I soften it, I'm going to drag it out in this direction as if the sun beams are going out away from the sun. So these brighter areas I'm going to soften, but I'm going to do it in a direction that the sun would be traveling. It gives it that kind of wispy feeling here. And you notice I didn't cover every part of the blue. I always left a little of that blue background, because some parts of the clouds are very thick and they would stand out, and then there's other parts of the clouds that are thinner, and the blue field or background of the sky would definitely not be completely covered, because the clouds are thinner, you know. Does that make sense? So, and that little bit of brown there, oh, looks wonderful, wonderful. It's coming together. It's blending well. It's got a lot of color in the sky, and I can re-emphasize that light a little more later on, just by going in with some little more brighter values and intensifying that center section right there. But it looks pretty good thus far. Now this was really heavy with pigment, so I'm going to blend that out for sure, because it's almost magenta. And I've never seen a sky that has pure magenta in it. It has a little maybe subtleties of magenta. Let's blend the very soft. It's very soft. The angels, they're living up here, looking down on us. Yes. And I'm just barely touching, softening, trying to get a nice blend here. Yes, but not overblend. Don't underblend, but don't overblend either. We're just basically making it looking like fluffy, fluffy clouds. Fluffy, fluffy. Yeah, I'm going to make the sunlight look like it's shooting up right from there. And the same here. They're going back and forth. Yes, yes, yes. I love that. I love that little blue spot there. It just gives it a little bit of more interest to it. The clouds are getting darker as it goes up towards the heavens. Yes. I'm gonna. Yes, I think this is actually looking very good, and we've got such a variety here of color. Now I'm not going to do too much here because this is going to be another mountain with trees coming out. And I know what you're saying. Let's see if I can bring that down a little bit. Soften that very bottom here. Yes. Bring that up, bring that yellow up. And by doing this, oh, there's that. If you ever get a hair like I did, just go like that. If you get a hair in there, just lift it right out of there with your brush. You don't have to use your fingers because you might mess it up if you use your fingers. Just use your brush. Okay, I might intensify the glow right here because it looks a little hazy, so I might add a little more yellow and white to that mix. There, I think I have a very effective sky here. I don't think I'm going to mess with that really too much more. Let me get that paint off. Maybe just do a little bit softer blend right here, and then I'm going to call it quits. Yes. Yes, I think that's a very nice, beautiful sky. Golly. Okay, well, we're into this thing about 57 minutes, so I'm going to call it quits here. And I'll take the camera like I usually do, because I don't have a zoom feature on this bad boy. And there's my sky, okay? That's my